Welcome to Smalltalk. This is the Smallville retrospective podcast. I'm one third of your co-host. My name is Ryan Cam. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I sort of kind of apologize slash thank you for buying into the April Fool's prank that we all pulled. It was rather interesting, but we're all back together. And joining me as always from 3D Movie Cinema, it's Patrick Bateman.
Yes, hi. Jacob had to return some videotapes. And so yeah, he had to return the Eyes Wide Shut and Clockwork Orange. He's really in a Kubrick mood.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He likes dissecting girls. He also likes, the autoerotic asphyxiation of the cinema.
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
He likes the Eyes Wide Shut every time. I've never seen Smallville, but I can't wait to talk about it too. By the way, I'm utterly insane. I like to dissect girls. Do y'all know I'm utterly insane?
Also, I needed to take my sheets to the laundry to get some red wine stains out of there. Matt Wyatt, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't wait to get into this three new episodes, especially Aqua.
Ironically enough, that's the first one we're going to be talking about.
By the way, I apologize. I apologize for the April Fool's Day because we literally everybody on April Fool's thought that was legit. I had people message me like, "I'm so sorry, what happened about Smalltalk?" I'm like, "It's you guys know it's April fucking Fool's, right? You know
I forgot you uploaded. I forgot you uploaded that."
Like everybody was messaging me. Like, I'm so sorry you and Ryan and them had a fight. I'm like, it's April 1st, guys. It's April fucking 1st.
These are the jokes, kid.
Do y'all not know what today is? I'm like, legit was like, are y'all fucking stupid or something? Like what?
Colin's walking through social media like the Geico camel. Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
Everybody was messaging. I had to tell them, I had people message me directly going, "I'm so sorry what happened with Ryan. Fuck Ryan." And I'm like, no, don't. It's not real. Dude, it's April.
They actually bought into it.
I had two people say fuck Ryan. And I'm like, what?
Oh my god.
He said,
do I know these people?
You know one of them. I'm just like, you can guess who that one is. I'm talking about one of them.
I've got an idea. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? It's a joke, guys. It is a joke.
It's a goof, guys. It's a goddamn goof.
And then when Ryan's like, "I love it," in the next episode, we never said nothing. There's no April Fool. It just ends with Ryan go, "Well, I'm Ryan, whatever," and then just ends. And then the next one goes, "Can you say April Fool? This is Smalltalk, y'all." And I'm just like.
I mean, I've watched enough pro wrestling in my life to not break kayfabe. I mean, don't give up the ghost until it has been given up. But I apologize as well to those who were
bought the joke, who actually believed it. By the way, y'all want some jelly beans? These are magic jelly beans because y'all are fucking gullible.
Would you like to see my beanstalk in my backyard? But on that note,
do you want to take the red pill so you can know the truth?
Free your mind. But yeah, there is a new Matrix coming out, but we were talking off stream about that, and the feelings are mixed.
By the way, Lawrence Fishburne was on Conan one time, and he says everybody comes up to him and says that quote about the red pill, green pill. He said he thought about taking 2 Tylenols and just carrying it around with him, so that way if somebody says, they pulls it out and says, "Take one of these." But then his lawyer's like, "Do not do that, because that's just that are drugging people." Do not do that, especially with Cosby and everything. We don't want people thinking Lawrence Fishburne going on drugging people with the red.
Well, on that pleasant note, let's dive into these 3 episodes, and this is another solid 3 episodes. There is one that I was going into it not thinking was going to be great, but I actually sort of kind of liked. But then there are 2 that I legitimately really enjoyed. So I think we can dive in head first. So I mean, dive in is the operative word considering the character we're going to be talking about. But this is season 5, episode 4, called Aqua.
Smallville on the WB Thursday.
Clark meets Arthur A.C. Curry, a young man with extraordinary powers underwater. You don't say, IMDb. AC is in Smallville hoping to sabotage a Luther core experiment that is threatening sea life. Lex is killing a bunch of fish, you see.
A lot of fish.
While in Smallville, AC forms an attraction to Lois. So we've got the canonical debut of Aquaman in this show, who's played by Alan Ritchson, who is currently Reacher on the Amazon Prime show. So
Jack,
safe.
reach around.
Oh, please, God, no. But safe to say that that dude did all right for himself. But I really enjoyed this episode. I think this might be my favorite of the three.
Me and Ryan were talking off camera before we started this thing like the other day, and he was texting me. He goes, "Yeah, I said you're probably gonna hate the next episode, but this episode I think you're gonna really like." And you will not believe what he said about the next one, Matt. You will not believe the shit he says about the next one. You're just like, what?
Let's stay on task
But
now.
I do like this episode. I do like how this is literally. I will say missed opportunity for the band Aqua to appear in this episode.
I was just going to say, I mean, like the Barbie song. I mean, come on.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Aqua, I think, came out this time. That was really popular. That song was out at this time. Was it this 2003 or 5? It was 2005. That song had Aria.
I don't remember. I don't remember when that song
I know
came
it was
out.
in Meet the Spartans in 2007.
It might have came out in the early 2000s, but I could have sworn that it might have been in the 90s.
1997.
That's what I thought. It had to be the late 90s when that song came out.
I mean, this literally, I'm saying Aqua. By the way, this episode has so many fish references in this episode. There's so many from everyone. It's like literally they were just like, hey, I got like how in Batman and Robin there's ice puns, there's fish puns. Literally, I smell something fishy.
There's an Entourage reference. If you've seen Entourage, you get the reference when fucking Arthur Curry was being a little smartass. Like I don't travel with an Entourage. And in case you don't know the reference, if you've seen the show Entourage on HBO, the James Cameron directed Aquaman movie, the leading actor was playing the Aquaman, and they're referencing off from the show. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I thought it was a very cool, funny callback.
It's gonna sound kind of funny, but I've watched the opening credits to that show about 100,000 times. It's such an addictive, like catchy song. Like that and The Sopranos are like the two ones. I don't know much about the shows themselves, but the opening credits are just.
You watch the opening credits, but not the shows.
Well, they've uploaded it onto their HBO's YouTube channel, so it's not like it's not hard to find. So
you want to hear something funny though? I've done that before. I have seen Finally Rescue Me, but I love the opening credits to Rescue Me. Another day, come on. To where I'm like, I want to be a firefighter. Yeah, let's go. I want to live with depression and have an imaginary friend. Come on, yeah, let's do that. And then I'm just thinking, like, every time I hear that song, I'm like, I can deal with that. And then now I'm just like, it's just so fucking lonely, right? Thinking about that, like, man, I said, no one else listens to the theme song and not watches the show. But now Ryan just confirmed, yeah, that's true.
That was my first exposure to him as an actor at the time during this television run was Smallville. And playing an Aquaman character that I never thought he would be able to debut in a live action form on television. I thought he was really good, he also was in another show called Blue Mountain State, which if you haven't seen that show is fucking hilarious. He's literally the Stifler figure. He's literally like Stifler. If you really
he has an Oreo up his ass.
Yeah,
and
he
runs
Oreo
down
up
the
his
court
ass.
with it, and then he eats the Oreo out of his ass.
Yeah, he did. That dude, if you have not watched Blue Mountain State, that show is fucking hilarious. That's so criminally underrated show.
They made a movie too to wrap the whole story. Now there's a sequel series that they're making with Blue Mountain State.
I've heard about that.
I'm just like, Alan Taylor is so successful now. Why the fuck would you go back to that character? It's so fucking crazy.
He loves that character so much, and he also played another DC character, Hawk from Titans. Hawk from Titans. So yeah, he played two major DC characters, and there's been word going around that they've been constantly asking him, is he going to be the next Batman in James Gunn's DCU? Which I don't think he will, but I don't think he would be a bad fit. But I highly doubt that he'll get the role.
Also, he provided the voice for Raphael in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that Michael Bay
You had to mention that,
directed.
Yeah,
really?
that Michael Bay produced the first two
You had to
movies. Yeah, I
mention that
remember
movie.
that.
Come on, man.
He
Yeah,
was,
so we were all like, look, Blue Mountain State was the least of his like problem. Then you had to go, oh, so he was in that movie too.
I mean, he
Like,
was also in Fred the Show, if anyone out there from early YouTube history remembers Fred.
okay, let's go back to Ninja Turtles. Okay, like so let's.
Had to
Hey, you
balance
know
it
what?
out
Let's.
somehow.
It's like when you said Fred, I'm like, okay, you can't get. That's like, yeah, I don't want to think about Fred, the fucking Fred movie about John Cena's in a fucking refrigerator.
Yeah, and he's also going to be in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, the Guy
That I'm
Ritchie
looking forward
film
to that. That
with
looks
Henry
so
Cavill.
good.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to it.
You know what that
It-
reminds me of? The Man from Uncle. It just reminds
yeah,
me so
because
much
it's
of that
direct
movie.
because it's by the same guy, director Guy
And Henry
Ritchie.
Cavill's in it too.
Yeah,
It's
Henry
like-
Cavill looks like he has a lot of fun when he's with Guy Ritchie.
You know, Guy Ritchie, like after he directed Aladdin, he's like, you know what? I'm done directing big movies. And now he's done The Gentleman, Operation Fortune, and now now Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is like, he's back to making Guy Ritchie movies now.
Yeah, and also he's supposed to direct Hercules for Disney.
Oh dear. And on that note, I really liked Alan Richardson in this episode. I was really digging him. He very obviously wears the orange and green, so it's like, hey, you get it? Like he's Aquaman.
It's on the nose of the color coded of the superhero character.
But at the end where Clark and him are talking and be like, maybe they'll start up the Junior Lifeguards Association. And like, I don't think I'm interested in joining the JLA. I'm like,
That's a little on the
guys.
nose. If none of you guys got that reference and it went over your head, it's supposed to be standing for Justice League of America. Which that was a little bit of, even though it was cheesy, but it kind of felt a little subtle. To like, damn, that's another references that they did. It was a little on the nose.
I want to talk about one character, Milton Fine. Okay,
Oh,
what did
yeah.
you think of him, Ryan?
Well, this was kind of spoiled for me. I know he is not Zod. He is someone else in the
Who spoiled that for you? None of us did.
We never spoiled it.
I was looking up clips for last week's episode, and I was looking up the ending for the premiere, and then blatantly in the title, someone had like who it was. I'm like, oh, well, that solves that mystery.
Well, I thought it solved the mystery by the time you get to the end of the first
So
episode.
you
When
know
he's
who he- you can
materialized like
say
a
it, since you know
T-1000
who he is
style. It's
now,
like
you can say his
Kryptonians
name.
don't materialize in a liquid metal shape. That Kryptonians don't have that kind of power, so that can't.
Well, I was gonna admit this note but now since you know, you can say his name. Who Milton Fine really is? You can say it.
You want to say it?
Brainiac.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
He is Brainiac.
Which you
It's
shouldn't
still a
even be
great
that
character.
surprised
He's
because
a
you got to remember.
fantastic Brainiac.
Because you got to remember when they promoted this show during season 5 run, they already gave away who he's going to be playing, so it was never really a major spoiler.
Considering the fact that this character is a college professor, it makes all the sense in the world that he's Brainiac.
Also, he was giving a speech about computers and the brain. He literally was saying those words like, "Our minds are like a computer, and we have to use our brain." And I'm like, he's literally because it's like, get it? He's Brainiac. You get it?
Do you know where the greatest supercomputer in the world resides? Right here. It's the human brain.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Because and also the only thing is, yeah, I mean, obviously, I was hoping like he'd be green, but this is 2005. They couldn't make him look like comic book accurate.
Yeah, there was no way they were going to make him comic book accurate because the way that the show, and I know I mentioned this before, they're going for the more grounded, realistic tone. So they're going to how are you going to take this comic book character and try to make him more grounded and believable?
And he's so smart too. Like every response he has, I mean, that's because he's a computer. But like every response he has,
he's
like,
an
every time
AI.
Clark says something,
He's essentially a Kryptonian AI.
like Milton Fine is playing. Lex is playing checkers with him while he's playing chess.
Absolutely.
Because he's so smart. Like that's he literally gives that speech to Clark, like about Mr. Kent. Like literally is off like line about supercomputers and brains. That was great. And also Milton Fine's speech to Clark about Lex Luthor. I like that how he's like, you know, like he's trying to like turn Lex, saying like he's not your friend, Mr. Kent. And everything.
Yeah, because he's trying to give a little bit of examples of how white knights change into tyranny, like Hitler, Napoleon, and all that stuff. And Lex Luthor is pretty much on the same playing field, while Clark is coming to his defense that he is not in the same playing field.
What do you think his goal is in the end, Ryan?
Um, I don't know all that much about Brainiac, to be honest. I know he's like one of Superman's bigger villains. I know that much. But I'm honestly not quite sure. I'm kind of leaving myself in the let's
You know,
see
just the
where he
theory, just
goes.
like give your ideas because once you this later we get with the season, you're gonna figure it all out. Big master
Well,
plan.
he doesn't like the Luthors. That's very obvious. I mean, he's basically half of his lectures are Lex Luthor is a dick. Let me tell you the reasons why. Like that's pretty much all
Does
of
it?
his
But doesn't
college
it look like
lectures.
he's trying to get close to Clark, and that he's taking more attention on him out of all the students in that room? He just calls him out in front of the middle of the classroom.
It's like, Mr. Kent, you're late. I'm like,
No
thanks for
professor does that.
starting without me.
Because first of all, college professor does never calls
They
out to
don't
their
care
students.
about
This is
you.
this is not high
He
school.
offers him a
Attendance
job.
does not matter. You either show up or you don't. That's the reality of college
He
when you're
shows
at
up late. He
college.
offers him a job. He shows up late and he goes, "No, he goes, you're smart. Hey, you want to be my assistant?" I'm like,
I just met you, dude.
we literally had less than 10 words.
Like you want to hire me for the job because I was my because
I'm
Lex
late.
Luthor
I
was my
showed up
buddy.
late. What if I? That's. I mean,
If I
like,
get your
No
coffee
student, no
order,
student was even asking any questions and like, why are you calling me out in front of the middle of the class, dude? Like this is not high school.
like, what if I get your coffee order wrong? You gonna give me a raise? Like, what kind of logic is
I mean, I do like though, like how he there's a line, okay, and the thing about he says Milton's speech to Clark, and I also like that, you know, Milton is basically like, you know, like he says, if you're gonna be late, he says, don't apologize. If you're gonna say sorry, do it. He says, like, you know, he's talking about do like when he's walking, and he says they're like, I'm so sorry, and he goes, don't apologize. If you're gonna do it with adversity. Like he's really a smart. He literally is almost like he talks. You could tell he talks like because he says lines and stuff that are way beyond like our comprehension. Because he's like saying like old Shakespearean lines and stuff, and like, but it's like and like how he says like Clark's name real fast and everything. He's like, oh, like he always has excuses. It's like almost like a Skynet. You know, he's like, I have all these lines and all these excuses like programmed to me, and I just think that's so good about his character. And it's like, you
He
know, I
comes off of
like
a compelling history professor like that we normally don't often get in real life.
and the showrunners
They keep
said
us interested about the history.
the showrunners said that if James Masters would have turned the role down, they would have scrapped the character from the show.
Oh man, I guess they really wanted him to play that role. I thought
They
like,
told him, like, said,
this
look,
is
if
our
you turn it
guy.
down, we're not gonna find someone else. We're just not. We're just gonna throw the character away.
Wow, I'm surprised they really want to get that guy. They
And
thought
he
he was
read
the
the script
perfect fit.
and he said, look, I'll do it. And they said, you know, it's honestly my only issue is I wish he was not reoccurring. I wish he was part of the main cast. But I think because he was shooting another show at the time, so that's why he
What show
only
was
able
he
to.
shooting? I don't
I
remember.
think wasn't it was it Torchwood or Everwood or
Torchwood?
something like
hang
that?
on,
Everwood?
I'm gonna look.
Maybe you might be. I think it might have been like Everwood or
Maybe it was
Torchwood.
Angel the final season or something. No,
Maybe.
because I think that
I mean, honestly, because I haven't seen those shows, and I don't know which one ended and which one was running at the same time as Smallville, because this is on the WB.
Well,
that's what I think the plan was. It was
Angel ended in 2004, so and Buffy ended in 2003.
Hmm.
so
So
what was he doing besides Smallville?
he was in this show called The Mountain. He was in a movie called Cool Money in
What year
2005.
was it? 2005.
2005.
So he was probably shooting those projects, and that's why he wasn't able to do the whole
Also,
season.
just in quick side road, Marsters actually voiced Lex Luthor in the animated
Made a
Superman
Superman Doomsday.
Doomsday.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, he did.
Still is. Do you know that is the number one selling animated Superman direct to video Superman of all time?
I
I've
have
heard,
the
yeah.
Blu-ray on my shelf over here.
It's still like the highest selling because it's so good. It is so good.
It's really good.
Like it's the only and like they did Death of Superman Lives later on, like they adapted it faithfully, and no one give a shit because they're like Superman Doomsday is way better.
No,
Yeah,
I do love the Superman Doomsday animated film. It was a banger, but I kind of like the Death of Superman animated film that they did that whole shared universe thing. I thought it was like more epic, but I do love Superman Doomsday. That was still an underrated
But
animated film.
which I like that they did the animation from Superman the animation. I think that's what really attracted people
Mhm.
was that they brought the design from the animated series. Only thing was instead of the only thing I hated was they toned down Lex Luthor because instead he was a bodybuilder, they made him look just like a skinny a skinny guy. It's like, well, I mean, you kept the design of him, you just like made him, you just toned his body weight down, like as if Lex Luthor went on Slim Fast.
Myself in the future, make a note to yourself to review all of the DC animated movies one day. I think that'd be fun.
Don't do it. Don't, Ryan. Don't. You're gonna kill yourself because it goes like a roller coaster. It goes.
How about just review the best ones, the best
Yeah.
like top tier animated like
Hey,
DC.
I
animated
I
movies.
watched all of the Godzilla and Kong movies.
Like don't
There's
put yourself through
180 of them
through
more,
pain by
plus
watching
more.
like every single one of them, even if they're not good.
There are some
Like,
terrible ones, Ryan. I'm telling you. Like you're gonna die. I tried to do that one time, and I'm like, it's a suicide rate at that point. It's like it's just there's no way you're gonna ever get to that. It's like
Like
it's like
if I
watching
were
every
to
episode of
review
The Simpsons.
if I were to review a DC animated films, I review just the best ones. Just the best
Yeah.
ones, not some of the weak ones. Like I'm not going to get into that stuff.
It's like trying to watch every episode of The Simpsons. No one's ever done that.
There's no way you're going to review every single one of Simpsons. Like it's an endless fucking
It's
animated
endless.
show.
Just
So
like
does South
General
Park.
Hospital.
I mean, I don't even know. Did Family Guy went off the air too?
Family Guy's still on the air. They just moved time slots to Thursday nights.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wish that show get canceled because it has not been as good since Seth MacFarlane left the show.
Since he
like,
left the
he
show,
does the
it
voice,
hasn't been
but
the
it's
same.
like the writing is terrible. Like
It's kind of you're saying it's like it's losing its steam and it just needs to put to rest.
and he hasn't even said he has not stepped in the writer's room in years.
That makes sense.
He said, I just do the voice and that's it.
Because wasn't he already busy doing another show called the prequel Ted show on Peacock? He was
Ted
already
is
busy
funny.
doing that.
Ted
I know.
is, yeah,
I still
funny.
gotta watch that show. I still haven't watched it.
There is some messed up shit in that. It's like Funny Guy, Family Guy humor. There is some messed up shit. There's a bestiality joke. I'm like, oh god.
Oh boy.
Back to Aquaman. Back to the fish fucker named Aquaman.
I'm sorry, we got off a little track.
By the way, yeah, Peacemaker calls him a fish fucker. So he is
Go fuck another fish, asshole.
Peacemaker. According to John Cena.
On that note, let's talk about how much of just a jerkwad Lex is in this episode.
Lex is a dick in this episode.
He's a cold-hearted asshole.
He is Lionel Luthor, a fish.
Yeah, he's becoming more him, except that now he's worse. He's selling the fucking Leviathan weapon that can rip another nuclear submarine to put in every U.S. military in the Pentagon, but it's gonna kill all marine life, and he does not give a two squirts of shit if they do.
Yeah, I love the scene near the end where Aquaman's strapped to that table and Lex is just walking around with a glass of water. I'm like, oh, that's just cruel.
He's playing all villainy, just like does not care.
I have a thirst for knowledge, one that never seems to get quenched.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
He's like,
hey,
I love that. I love that he called it back from Arthur's. Like, why are you doing this? Like, one, you call me a tool.
I do like that. I do like that Lex Luthor is only in this episode. I don't like this part, but I think Lex Luthor is only in this episode for the Aquaman plot. He adds nothing to the story. There's nothing with him and Clark. That all it is just for Aquaman. All it is he's there because they had an Aquaman in the episode. He has to be the villain of the Aquaman part, Because literally, like, what does he do? It's nothing like it's like, oh, Clark, I want to be friends. Instead, like they just have like really, it's like we need something to do with Lex. Okay, make him part of the Aquaman plot.
We got to add a little bit more conflict.
Which, by the way, they never once mentioned this fucking project until this episode.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a contradiction right there. Like,
and we
really?
Never seen this woman that works for him. I'm like, when did we see her?
That was just some bitch there's some woman that he works
he
with that is assistant.
You're like just some bitch that works with her.
I was going to say she's Miss Tessmacher, but I don't think
I highly doubt that.
She's not Ryan. Just trust me, she's not.
Okay.
She's not. She's not that important. She's just a throwaway assistant. And
you have yet to meet Miss Tessmacher. I mean, not Miss Tessmacher, but Mercy Graves, whatever the fuck.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, Mercy. Hey, they really. I was gonna say this right now. It's not really. This is a spoiler, but it's not really. Like that character, Miss Tessmacher and Mercy Graves. They kind of mashed that character up into one person. But you won't see that character for a long, long time, so you don't have to worry about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I do.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
You won't see that character for a long, long time.
Not for like several seasons.
Don't say it, Rat. Do not say it when.
But I can't tell you when.
You will trust me. We'll let you know when that is that character.
You'll know.
Yeah, trust me. But the actress is great that plays her though.
Oh yeah, she owned it.
I will say that I do. I'm just laughing at that. Call that lady a bitch. That bitch over here.
fucking
That just
asshole fish
it
lady.
just slipped out of my. It just slipped.
That
I was like, oh
bitch.
god.
What did that lady ever do to you, Matt? Like, what did she like? Let cut you off in traffic? Like, hey, you bitch! Talking about Smallville. I'm gonna talk shit about you tonight on Smallville. You watch me, motherfucker! Asshole! And just driving like, let me tell you about that bitch
No,
on Smallville.
I'm referring to like this is just some character we're not gonna remember. We're gonna be. She's coming and going. Like we don't. She's not that important.
But I do like that Lois at the beginning of this episode is like, you know, like saying, she goes, I'm moving back in. He goes, yeah, right. Clark's like, yeah, right. And he goes, don't worry, Clark. He goes, I sleep heavily, so when you and Mara are hop humping like bunnies, he says, I'm a deep sleeper. I'm like,
I'm a heavy sleeper. I was like, what?
like, what?
I didn't really need to know all that.
Too much information, Lois.
But she's constantly moving back in and out of the Ken farm. Like, really? This is the
At
only
this
place.
point,
And-
just
and-
at this point, just Jonathan should just build a fucking addition for Lois, okay?
Just build another room for Lois for crying out loud. Come on, dude.
Or just
Because
give her
it's
the
like-
loft. She's practically living there anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I just
seriously,
love I love Clark's response after she leaves. It's like because she handled me and was smothering with a pillow. I was like, damn.
This is officially the beginning of the new season, by the way, guys.
That
Like,
feels
this is
yeah, I totally
officially-
agree. I mean, those
Like
two
that wraps up. This
episodes.
is the new season 5 beginning
It'll-
because it wraps
yeah,
up
yeah.
those episodes. Like,
Yeah, that those two episodes of
or the end
well,
of
no,
season
no,
4.
the first three. No, the first three. Yeah, the first three was the ending of season 4.
And
This
is the
one
beginning
is
of
definitely
season 5.
Aqua was the beginning. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Which also, I like Chloe's line about the line we need about needing heroes.
Yeah, she said about like, yeah, well, we thought we never need heroes, but now we do more than ever. I was like, oh, wow, good point.
Also, Lois jumps, okay, and she hits her head. I found that hard to believe.
Yeah, because from that angle, from this angle in the center, when she was like doing the backflip of diving into the lake, we don't see
Right, see, you
the
jump
part.
way too.
Then
She
somehow
broke her
she was
neck
able to
if that
hit her
would've
head
been-
next to that freaking board.
She would have broke her neck.
That's not. Yeah, she would have been dead, dude.
From the angle that I saw, she hit her head on, let me check my notes here, the
What?
water. So, like, how did she, like, faint again? Oh.
I do like that Clark like going under there and all of a sudden he got knocked away and the Aquaman saved her and then brought her. I'm like, if you counted, they took way too much time because they just looked at each other. Then he went up and I'm like, she should be dead by now because like y'all would look at each other like this, like you, like,
Yeah, he's
okay,
just
she's
staring.
probably
Yeah,
dead
he's
by
just
now.
staring at it. I was like, dude, you might want to take her out of the water right now. She's drowning.
I do like that Clark was jealous of what. I do like Clark jealous of Arthur, and I do like the underwater battle between him. How he just jumps Clark out, and he's just like literally.
Yeah, but the only thing he did was using a big bubble to fucking slap Clark around. Which, come on, dude. If this were made today, they would have done much more fist fighting underwater battle. But no, let's do a bubble and just.
Like, what would
What
I
is this? What is this fucking Donkey Kong sequence?
You would have used, like, the lake perch, be like, perch, attack. Like, what weapons would I
You can
It
call
would
the
have been funny
fucking
if there was
sea
like fish
creatures.
that attack Clark, and he's like,
Like, as
all
soon
of a
as,
sudden he
might
shows
as
up
well
on a
catch-
seahorse, and he's like,
You might as well call Willie.
as soon as Clark jumped in the water, I'm like, Clark, you are dumb in this moment. Like, you are literally
you are in his
house.
territory.
You are in his house.
You're underestimating him. He's half Atlantean.
I also liked Lex's line at one day of college, and he's already an activist.
I love
I love
And
that.
Lex has a funny quippers in the movie, like you called me a tool. I thought that was funny too. When
And I like his little remarks, like, "Where do you come from? Guardians of the Seas?" I was like, damn.
which Lex, I like how Lex is like, say, I'm willing to bet. Usually, I don't deprive my guest of dehydration, but I'm willing to bet that if I give you some water before I finish the bottle, you'll just pop right out of those chains.
You'll bust it right out of it before the glass is empty.
Like, and I'm just like, that to me was so good. I love that how Lex, that's something Lionel Luthor would have been doing.
It's just already getting to the point where now he's actually becoming the villain Lex that we know him now.
I mean, really true. And he's still trying to kindle that, rekindle his relationship with Clark.
I'm just like, Like that ship has sailed, Lex. Like
Did you know that when he was bullshitting about the Leviathan that it's for the hungers? Like, you're really gonna make us believe that's what you're doing, dude? You're making the weapon for the military. That ain't growing from fucking hunger. I was like, what? That's the
like
best
Lex,
lie you can come up with.
like Lex, you're more full of shit than a colostomy ward. Like
Now,
start making sense here.
what the fuck?
I lost it. It's like there's the colostomy ward bag of shit, and then there's Lex's shit, and you're just like, oh.
But now after when Clark and Arthur destroy that Leviathan device, now he's taking more attention to Arthur because he knows he saw him escaping from that facility, and now he's going to be hunting him down at the end of the earth. He's like, tell him I'll be seeing him next time. I was like,
I do like that Clark and Lex at the end of the episode where he was just like, like he was just trying to rekindle that relationship with Clark, and Clark just can't trust him.
Yep.
He knows that, he's like, dude, you lied to me so many times, and then you literally you kidnap Arthur, and I was like,
but also he's starting to come to trust Milton Fine about what he told about Lex,
he's
that
moving
he
towards
is no saint.
Milton Fine.
Yeah,
he's more towards Milton Fine, but then he's like, going to like that's becoming his new friend. Like, he's trying to see.
He's
Milton
becoming
Fine
his new best
Lex.
friend, even though he only met him for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, I like how Lex. This is some dislikes I have with the episode. Lex is able to enhance the image by hitting enter on the laptop in two.
Like, this is in early 2000s. He's able to hit the enter.
He just goes like this,
and just pops up in the video feed.
Enhance, and I'm like, what?
Enhance. That there's no way you would have that kind of technology in the early 2000s. This ain't fucking MCU. You're not Iron Man.
Like back and to the left, back and to the left.
Just like Lex has that technology. I'm like, what?
What kind of century do you think we're in?
Like 4K.
Also, I do like that nobody sees I hated this too. Nobody sees the guards kidnapping Arthur. I understand he's on a plane beach, but like Arthur doesn't even see them. Like all of a sudden he goes, and all of a sudden guards just show up and kidnap him. And I'm like, nobody's pulling up or nothing.
There's no lifeguards. There's no life. Well, yeah. Who's hiding inside out in the open? Did someone use a long range?
They're just sitting there like, wait for him. Wait, Jonathan. Wait, Jonathan. There we got him.
Yeah, but didn't he call his goon to have him followed or something? That might make more sense.
Well, no, he sees the image on that in that supercomputer that he had, because apparently he's able to hit enter, and that's so super that he can hit enter and see clear as day in 4K.
I was like, yeah, that's like really.
And then he's like, oh my god, that's Arthur. He's like, oh my god,
that's the same dude.
And then all of a sudden he's like, go get him, guys. Imagine he's like Keanu Reeves in the Matrix, like, whoa. All right, 4K.
4K.
Oh my god, that's Arthur. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Guys, you gotta like find him now. Go check water.
This is very trippy than a circle.
Apparently there's only one lake in Smallville, so that's most likely where he's at, is in the fucking lake.
Yeah, that really narrows it down.
It's like one lake in Smallville, so it's like there's only one lake, so it's like, well,
well, okay.
I mean, that's all. He's not there. He's gone, because there's no way he could be anywhere else.
How did you feel? How did you feel about the love interest between him and Lois with Arthur? What did you think about that?
One thing that I will say though, Erica Durant's honey. That's all I will say. Like
we'll talk about that part later. We'll talk about
there's another one for Lois in the third episode.
We're
not
gonna
the third
get
episode.
Trust me, Ryan. Keep your boner in check until we get to that episode, okay?
I'll cross my legs, but
cross your legs. Think of something non-sexual.
Clark randomly finds Arthur too. Like he doesn't know where Clark is. He just randomly shows up, and then he goes, shh. He pulls the thing, and it gets all of a sudden the water comes down, and then all of a sudden Arthur has that very homoerotic moment where he's like, and then all of a sudden he said, what did he say? What was the line he said? Like some kind of gay ass line where I was just like, he said, let's plug some holes or something like that, or let's get wet. He's like, no, I'm
he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yeah, that's what it says. I'm wet.
That's
ready.
a little exaggerated.
No, look at the line. He says, I said to Ryan, I said, like he says, like, I'm wet and ready. Let's go. And I'm like,
I'm going to insert it in post. Jacob
did. I'm like, what? What the fuck?
I knew I'd find you here. Are you okay? Wait, ready for
let's abandon ship on that, and I think we've covered just about everything. So let's go to rankings,
This
Jacob.
is a B. Oh no, sorry. This is like about 8 out of 10 shows.
All right, Matt, what about you?
Eight and a half out of 10. I did enjoy this episode a lot. It was a fun episode.
I'm gonna side with Matt and go 8.5 as well. I really
It's a half a fucking thing. Like what are you? It's like saying $10 and 1 penny.
you're really going to pick apart the rating system
Here's
now?
the thing, like, really, we've been
Like-
doing
I
half
mean,
for,
like
for
a
a
half.
long
Like
time.
it's like I liked it, but I didn't like it. But I thought I liked it halfway enough to where it's a 9. If you're just gonna say 8 or 9, just don't have to go half. Like and it's I like it, but I don't like it long enough to say a 9. Like I like it. Like
we are 33, soon to be 34 episodes into this, and you're just bringing this up now.
Don't want you polluting this beautiful Sussex County air with your language.
Exactly. I was like, why?
Why was I expecting you to side with that?
Are you
asshole
jealous
right
because
here?
now you're in the minority out of the
I was
three
not
of-
expecting you to side with that asshole right here. I'm like, what? An 8.5.
I said 8.5 first before Ryan did.
Yeah, I know. Ryan sided with you. That's what made me mad.
You're just mad because he sided with me for
He sides
once,
usually with me
so don't
because
be
that's the
jealous.
stupid ass rating system you got.
Don't be jealous.
Okay, I give this 8.5 shields and a unicorn and a pony. There.
All right, me and Post added in a unicorn and a pony, and a rainbow for 1/3 of this podcast that shall go nameless. But let us move on now to absolutely wild episode. Let's just call this the Smallville Halloween special.
It was.
It might as well be because this is like the more of like the spell. Like I think what was the
This was a fucking ripoff of Buffy. They literally stole so fucking much. This is like literally the fuck you episode of Buffy because they shit on Buffy the Vampire Slayer so much in this episode. I'm just like,
this was a full on ripoff of fucking Buffy the Vampire.
May I read the plot, please?
Go ahead.
This is season 5, episode 5, called Thirst.
Thursday. Love doesn't just hurt.
Of course we want you to be one of us.
Shut up, Clark. You talk too much.
It bites.
Clark, there's no such thing as vampires.
All new Smallville, followed by a fresh Everwood on the WB Thursday.
Pauline Kahn, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, offers Chloe the chance to prove herself by writing a big story. Chloe happens upon a story when Lana moves to Metropolis University and takes up residence in a sorority of vampires. Meanwhile, Lex locks horns with Clark's lecturer, Professor Milton Fine, over his mysterious past. So, you want to know how wild this episode begins? It kicks off with the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet being played by Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, like Jacob Blues' former lover from the Blues Brothers, that Carrie Fisher. And I was like, oh my God, that's Carrie Fisher. Wow.
You know what? This episode, me and Matt, I think, look, I was with you on this episode until I watched it. I was like, literally, oh, it's a great episode. Oh, come on. And I was like, fuck Matt, okay? Now I kind of side with Matt.
Yeah, because I thought this is the fucking terrible. This is the weakest episode of the season. A fucking pointless fucking filler that we didn't need to have. The only thing that was important was fucking Chloe getting a job at the Daily Planet and work from the ground up, and we got Carrie Fisher as a guest, Princess Leia, which I never thought she would be in a TV show. I mean, who would have thought?
I did.
But it was cool. But it was great seeing Carrie Fisher. That was the only highlights of the episode. But other than that, like, why did we have this? It was
because they had they needed the Halloween.
They need another Halloween special. They want to have another sexy characters, especially Lana. First the witch stuff, and now we got the fucking vampire.
I will defend the witch all day. The vampire.
The witch stuff is not bad. I will say it's a better episode. But this one, the vampires was just utterly pointless.
I was watching this earlier in the living room, and I was at my mom's house watching this, and my mom walked by and said, "This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen." Stupidest shit I've ever. And she's seen this episode before because I was a kid. I watched Smallville, and so she goes, "This is the stupidest shit ever." Like, yeah. And like literally, like there's a scene, okay, when she's like this, she goes, whenever she goes, "You can't die," and she goes, "Cool," and then you see her face, she's like, like so, like.
It was like, oh, This to me, this was a ripoff from Buffy, but it was also a ripoff from The Lost Boys.
I know the Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys. If you really think that was
Boys.
literally the female of The Lost Boys.
Like, look, this is what I had.
I literally thought they were gonna play "Cry Little Sister" soundtrack from the movie.
And so they play "I Don't
that would
have
actually I thought the "Cry Little Sister" would have been better played in this episode. I guess they just couldn't get the rights to it.
No, they're on a fucking TV budget, dude. No, they're not gonna get that song. They're like, this is a Halloween episode.
Dude, they claimed a lot of big hits of the fucking music and soundtrack in these shows.
I mean, they've had Lifehouse multiple times in.
They had Simple Plan.
Yeah,
they had Green Day.
Was...
They had a bunch of that shit.
I mean, literally, but this is what my issue. Okay, you're about to let you speak, Ryan, but because I know Ryan's like, no, it's great. Let me tell you, this is cinema.
I was honestly, I thought you were gonna side like I don't even know how Ryan feels, but I thought you were gonna say, oh, this is an actually really good episode. Fuck you, Matt.
Look, before yesterday, I was 100% with Ryan, and then I watched it, and I'm like, no, this is fucking terrible. Like, literally, this episode starts. Chloe's the narrator of the fucking episode.
She's literally telling her side of the story.
And then we start with the story where the pizza guy is getting a BJ in the tub, and then she bites his dick, and then he goes,
She literally did. She bit his dick off. Not even, it literally did. This was on a fucking network show. It almost looked like you were watching a fucking Vampire Skinamax special. having a pizza fucking delivery guy getting blown in the fucking tub and getting his dick chewed off and gets fucking mutilated.
Like what did Burt Reynolds from Boogie Nights produce this? Like, what are we doing here, people?
I mean,
because it literally felt like a fucking Skinamax porn special that you watch on Cinemax.
And then that's the funny part. I laughed my ass off at this. This is why I dislike. There's a scene, okay, whenever she turns Lana, you just see the shadows two women making out in the shadows, how she turns her. I'm like, you just showed a guy getting his dick bit off, but yet that's too much. It's two girls kissing. That's where you draw the fucking line. It's like, no, we can't show that. That's too far.
Come on, man, that's garbage.
But the guy getting blown, yeah, we can show that. Like, that's okay. Like, in what universe?
It's like, dude, you do know that this is supposed to be a network show, and you're allowing this to be shown on television?
2005. The things you do to us. But
they must have fought hard for that BJ. No, the BJ has to be in there. Like, it has.
We gotta let the BJ happen. We gotta let that happen.
Okay, well then cut the Lana kiss scene. Just use shadows. All right, we'll do that. Okay, but like we're keeping the pizza guy BJ. I mean, honestly, this was written by Stephen Deeknight, who was the showrunner for Daredevil season 1, and who wrote who wrote a lot of episodes of Buffy. And I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
And
I don't know what the fuck he was smoking.
And you all want to know what the name of the villain in this episode is?
Buffy
Sanders.
Because subtlety is a concept made by losers.
Oh boy, name the fucking character after the show.
And subtlety, literally, it's like what Chris Stuckman said about how in the review for the Fanatic, how he said, this is where, like he said in the review, like he said, Fred Durst, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, is the director of this movie. And he goes, and I separate up until they start playing Limp Bizkit music. This is when I start to check out from Fred Durst, the director, and Fred Durst, the musician, comes in the picture. And I'm like, soon as they started referencing Buffy Sanders, and then they started making like about she's a vampire. That's right there is when I started. Okay, this is where Steven. This is where I start checking out of the. Okay, this is an episode of Smallville, and this is just a blatant ripoff of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm like, okay, Steven, you lost me. You lost me. Especially, I will say there are things I do like in this episode. There are. Like the Milton Fine stuff is fantastic. Ryan, what do you like in this episode? Tell us what made this episode where you were just like, magnificent.
First of all, Collins is kind of.
Are you sure it's not Princess Leia that really got you going?
You guys are both full of it. I didn't outright love this episode, but I didn't hate it like you guys clearly did. I thought there were good things in it, like things with Milton Fine. I thought that was really good. Like, I love just how he buries Lex as Lex walks in on his class, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, he donates to this school. Like, if you get fired, like, in the next couple days, like, that's on you. I'm just saying. You're literally talking about all of his misdeeds to his face. I admire the guts, but I also have to be, like, career-wise, no, that's not wise.
And then he buries Lex, goes to his house, and then like humiliates him at his own house. He's like, I'll put
He
you.
fucking humiliated him.
I'm gonna go put you in your place at your house too, bitch. Watch that.
Like,
this is a game you cannot win.
Like, oh, you didn't hear me say I don't like you, Lex? Well, let me say it through cupped hands. I don't like you.
Like, I just laughed so hard. I laughed so fucking hard. How he sees and uses Lex crimes as a lesson, and then he confronts Lex at the mansion, and he throws the line away like, and like he throws the line away like like because he's like, because earlier he says, "Why is a billionaire so inclined with a farm boy?" Like when he was like, the line, and I'm like, and then he literally was just like, and then he just says, "Oh yeah, this is the file on me." Oh, and then he takes the pool. He's playing pool and beating Lex at pool. By the way, just gets all the things, and then he's literally like, Lex sees all this information. It's like, yeah, you're laundering money. Yeah, you're spending money. Yeah, you're basically have secret projects on the campus. Yeah, you're donating money, but you're also laundering it. So I'm sure the dean would like to see that. And I'm
It's
just
like, hey, you got some dirt on me that I'm having you spied on, and having Clark as my assistant. That all the stuff is not public knowledge. And yeah, it's like, I'm gonna get some dirt on you, and you won't be back for the next semester. And then fucking, like you said, fucking Milton Fine just came back and fired him right back that you've been fucking laundering money, even though you donated. But I got some dirt on you, motherfucker. This is a game you cannot win. And seeing Lex just so fucking humiliated, he's like fucking dick.
He's like, follow
no,
him.
he has him followed.
He literally just like doesn't even settle. Like, follow him,
Follow him. And also, then the guard just catches him with the fucking ship and just fucking lick T-1000 his ass.
No, this is mine. He goes,
actually, it is mine. Like, damn. Yeah,
like,
Kryptonians don't do that. Kryptonians cannot have that ability.
Ryan, what did you think when that happened? Whenever he says the guard pulled the gun on, what did you think? You're like, oh, he's dead. Did you think that, or were you like,
I mean, he's the brainiac. I'm sure he's thought of every scenario possible, so it makes total sense. And I'm sure James Marsters is going to be another one that we're going to praise. Like, we've already praised him a lot, but we're just
going to dude, he's so good.
He's only been in 2 episodes so far, or 2.5 technically, because he had a cameo at the end of 1. But like, he's so good. Like, you believe like this is a character, and like Lexus so hates him because he's like, this man is spying on me. This man blackmailed me twice by telling me like, hey, oh, you're going to expose all my secrets? Well, watch this.
He blackmailed me, and I'm going to blackmail him.
And he basically belittles him by saying, you wouldn't be the great Lex Luthor if you wouldn't do this or that. And I'm like, you're basically belittling Lex by basically trying to hype him up. And it's like, he's playing mind games with Lex. And Lex is just getting pissed because he's like,
you're provoking him.
Lex is playing chess, and Fine is playing Lex is playing checkers, by Fine is playing chess.
That's right.
Yeah. Because Fine is literally like, and Fine's already won, but Lex doesn't know that.
Milton Fine already won before the game even began, dude.
He's like, I've calculated all the steps and everything. I mean, he's a supercomputer. I mean, obviously, yeah.
He's a Kryptonian AI. Of course, he's going to be like 100 steps of the game ahead of Lex.
He can literally probably anticipate every single move Lex Luthor will do. So he's like, there's 150 moves you will try to attempt to stop me, and I will attempt, and I will have every solution to every. It's like, I mean, literally, and also, I just think that I honestly think, that he's really good, and then on top of that, I like how he visits Clark at the hospital, which he went there to see Clark.
But also his excuse to be in the hospital visiting a sick patient. Who's sick patient? Who do you what?
Do you have a name of this patient?
You have a name?
Oh, I'm sure he could have thought of one real quick because I mean he's smart.
That was not really the best excuse. Like,
by the way, he's like vampires. Clark, I like when he said vampires. Clark, there's no such thing. And I'm like, you're a fucking computer from outer space, okay? He's like vampires.
I'm sure you breezed through Bram Stoker's Dracula once or twice. Like, come on.
We had witches. Mystical stuff. You're telling me there's no vampires?
A supercomputer that's an alien from outer space in a human form is saying there's no such thing as vampires. I just want to point that out there.
Then he looks at Chloe's file of her condition, and suddenly he instantly recognized this condition from Luthor Corp. I was like, oh yeah, why don't you ask your buddy here, Lex? He knows about this. Like, how the fuck did you recognize this? Shit.
Well, knows all of these things, is super smart, but when it comes to vampires, is like, I don't know her. I'm like, Mr. Fine, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm sure if like like witches, he probably would be like, I do not compute. So I only know of science. I was like, which I mean, to be fair, he does find a solution. I do also like, I do like that, Fine never. Oh, he told Lex never start a game you can't win. I like that line really much. Like he tells Lex that, and I also thought Buffy killing Lana. I never thought I would say this on Smallville, but
Yeah, Lana
Buffy
killing
killing
Buffy.
Lana.
No, no, Lana kills Buffy.
Well, no, Buffy throws her down over the stairs, breaks her neck and
Yeah,
everything.
for the transition.
Yeah, she goes, I don't believe you.
Oh god, that was so bad.
I don't know what song that is, but I just got that song stuck in my fucking head when they're playing that song. I don't believe you. And she's like, and all of a sudden she goes, cool. And I just was like,
I mean,
that's literally the fucking scene, by the way. That is
moment
literally
she's in that dorm room with Clark, she
be,
just fucking smells the blood and she gets all horny and she's waiting to just go to Pound Town.
I'm going to try to add the footage in post so everyone believes us, but that is literally what happens.
And then literally she goes later, like they go to a costume party and Clark dresses like Zorro. By the way, I love Zorro. That's a good character. But I mean, have you, a movie that reminded me of a Cinderella story starring Hilary Duff when that one nerdy guy dresses up like Zorro as well?
Yeah, that's the one.
I just got that stuck in my head when I was watching going, are they trying to rip off a Cinderella story now? Like they're ripping off Buffy. And they're like, what can we else rip off?
They somehow are, but not really. Because if you really think about it, like, hey, he doesn't like costumes. He even made that clear. But then when he wears the costume, it's like, hey, I love the cape and the costume. He does not like wearing the mask. It's like, I can't see a damn thing through this damn mask.
Yeah. Well, Zorro.
Did you know that Batman was inspired by Zorro and made him more of a superhero vigilante? And it's sort of kind of like the same parallel with Clark.
Well, Zorro was one of the first comic book characters, period. Like Zorro walked so Batman and Superman could run, basically.
Yeah. I also like how like literally Lana's dressed like Catwoman, by the way.
Yeah.
Lana just honey.
That's kind of more like a Mean Girls ripoff if you really think about it. The way that they're dressing up from Mean Girls.
I also love how in order to unvampire Lana, they basically have to reenact that scene in Pulp Fiction where Vincent Vega has to revive Mia
Uma Thurman's character with the injection like right in the heart.
Yeah.
I also like him whenever Chloe. No, this was stupid, but whenever Chloe pulls a she goes, and he goes, "Oh, sweetie, this isn't a movie."
I thought that was funny. That was I love how self-aware that was.
Like
it's so cliches. Like forget everything you see in the movies. Like this isn't a movie. Oh cross. Oh my god.
I thought the pizza. The pizza guy also when he died from the BJ, he should have lived by Magneto's rule: never trust a beautiful woman, especially one who is interested in you.
Yep, that's the one.
That's literally the rule to live by, and that goes for anybody in real life. Look, if you're an ugly guy or you're an average guy, the one rule you should always live by: never trust a beautiful woman, especially one that's interested in you. Play the Magneto clip from X-Men 2 so we all get that reference, okay? Ryan, I'm trusting you for that.
I understood that reference.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, also I hate how Chloe's the narrator. I do hate how Chloe just is like, oh, let me freeze it there. It reminds me of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It reminds me of that whenever the narrator's discussing the Baudelaire children. He's like, oh, my printer broke. Let me stop it right there and let me fix it.
You get the picture.
That just reminded me of that so much. And I'm just like, I don't know why. And that right there. And on top of that, Clark, for some reason, every time Clark is like, oh, we're done, Lex. He keeps going back to Lex for information.
He's the only solution because apparently Milton Fine told him, like, you better ask your buddy Lex about this whole project 1138. Like, was it 1138? I can't remember what the number was. Like,
he's like a teen who's like yelled at his parents, like, I hate you, you're gross, but then pops his head out.
Like, I hate you, Dad.
And also, what's that? Isn't Lex is always the MacGuffin, okay? Like he's always like, oh, Lex has all the answers.
Dude, he literally kept the fucking briefcase of the antidote from vampire disease, like in his mansion. Like you had it all along.
Calls or something at the lab. I would imagine like, oh,
I don't know. They probably did it off. They must have did it off screen because this was literally like a minute the moment he walks right into the mansion. Like, okay, get down to business.
I am glad you said I just so randomly happen to have this right here.
Yeah, he just
It's
randomly
so,
has it. Like, oh yeah, I guess I just have this randomly. But
It's so
also,
glad you didn't say
according to
werewolves.
Lex, it was
Yeah.
not a mystical vampire. It was just a fucking disease made by kryptonite. A meat freak of the week episode, Meteor Infected.
He is Lex is the lexicon, if you
She
will.
got bit by a fucking kryptonite vampire bat and turned into a vampire.
Also, she bites Clark. Okay, she bites Clark, and then she gets heat vision. How the hell does that happen? She's like,
I thought that
she
was
absorbed. She probably absorbed her blood, his DNA, and
I
got
thought
parts of
that
her
was kind of
eyes.
rad. I'm not gonna
Dude, she got
lie.
horny using heat vision.
shouldn't she get like so? Basically, every time she gets wet, she's like,
That's literally what it was.
it's like
on Smalltalk, when Lana gets that way, does it trigger heat vision this week on Unsolved Mystery?
we're gonna get caught demonetized with the raunchiness.
But also, are we gonna address the elephant in the room that Lana just murdered someone? She just murdered Buffy with her heat vision.
She goes like
incinerated
this,
her.
and then the other girls are just other vampires, just like, okay, we're done. We're all they all just leave.
Like, we're out.
They were so stereotypical fucking sorority.
It was like Mean Girls, but they were vampires. That Regina George was a vampire.
Yeah, it was literally a culmination ripoff from Buffy, sorority. Oh, no, Mean Girls and fucking the Lost Boys.
As
Yeah.
if.
By the way, yeah. Also, I do like that at the end how Chloe gets the job at the Daily Planet. You get to see that big, giant, beautiful shot of the Daily Planet.
That was nice. I did like that.
Yeah, that was a very nice ending. That was a
I'm
nice ending
surprised.
to her story where now she gets to start from the bottom up, which from bottom to the top. I love that one.
But on that note, Jacob, what 1 to 10? What do you got?
It's a 5 out of 10, and also those 5s are going to Milton Fine.
All right, Matt, what about you?
It's a really bad episode. It's my least favorite of the season, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. But no, 4 out of 10. What the fuck? 4 out of 5. 4 out of 10. But I do agree. I did love the Milton Fine and Lex. I thought the Milton Fine and Lex were the highlights. That were the savor of this episode. If it weren't for that, it would have been much lower.
I do like at the end how Lex says, he said, "Where'd you get this information?" And he said, "What do you care? Only if it came from Milton Fine." Like, Lex just so ass hurt about Milton Fine.
So
he's like, hey, Clark was like, he's after the truth, but Lex was like, I believe he's after more than that. So you might want to be careful with like that kind of person you're trusting.
That is.
I may not be the most trustworthy person, but at least I'm honest at least I'm very upfront about it, if that makes any sense.
Lex is a fucking liar.
So I'm going to go 5.5. That I didn't hate this one, but I didn't really love it either. I'm not even sure if I liked it. There's just some
now you're trying to backpedal. They're like, well, maybe I didn't like it. Maybe it wasn't that great. No, you were like telling me, oh, I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, maybe I don't like it now. Maybe
Are you gonna let me finish?
Can I finish? Please, can I finish? Okay, I'm finished.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it like you guys do. I just thought it was okay. But there was things, but I didn't kill this episode like you guys did.
Yeah, I just thought it was just more of a below. It's just a below average episode.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen far worse. I mean, Phelan's not in this, thank God.
Imagine if Phelan was the master.
Please don't.
He's like, hey, you thought you seen the last of me, huh, Kent?
I'm back from the dead.
I'm back, Jensen.
Imagine that. Ryan would be like, oh, you can go fuck yourself. Ryan would then say, this is like a 0 out of 10. If Phelan showed up, Ryan would be like, yeah, I'm done with this episode. I had to turn it off. I'll watch it tomorrow because this is so fucking stupid.
He's like, yep, I'm done.
Ryan's like, I don't even know if I'm going to continue Smalltalk. This is a fucking... Imagine if Phelan was the main villain, like it was a vampire. Imagine the whole season was a vampire arc, and the whole season 5, was just vampires, and Phelan was the master. Would you still be happy? Or would you be like, that was terrible?
No comment. But let's
let's
move on to our final episode we're going to be talking about this week. It is season 5, episode 6, called Exposed.
the WB Thursday. A murder in Metropolis, a political scandal, all lead to
the Wingate Gentlemen's Club in Metropolis.
And Lois undercover.
Give me a 20 and meet me outside.
Fresh Smallville, followed by Everwood on the WB Thursday.
The girl's attractive.
Senator Jack Jennings, a longtime friend of Jonathan, pays a visit to the farm when he hears the news that Lex Luthor is to run against him in the forthcoming election. Jonathan questioned Jack's integrity when he is implicated in the hit-and-run murder of a 19-year-old stripper outside an exclusive nightclub. Sensing this might be your first big story for the Daily Planet, Chloe enlists the help of Lois and Clark in investigating the murder. What are you laughing about?
I'm just laughing at that impression you did, Phelan. You see, I'm back for the dead. You see,
I'm back this on Kent.
This is revenge for dropping a safe on my head.
I would laugh so hard at that if that was true. I was like, oh my god.
He'd be like Nick Cage, like, I don't make smell anything. Not once, no one time.
I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire. Yeah, on to this episode now. Because I'm gonna keep laughing if I keep thinking about it. But in this episode, I will say this episode is a blatant rip. The Batman blatantly stole this episode.
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that the Matt Reeves stole anything. Okay, I'm not like Chris Wozniak. Okay, I'm not gonna sit there and say they stole the story. No, I'm just saying that Matt Reeves got it's very similar storylines in a way. Not the whole story.
But to be fair, the Batman was sort of a ripoff from David Fincher's Seven and Zodiac. Like, come on, are we really gonna get into this?
There's just similarities. So. It looks very cue the Spider-Man 3 clip, Ryan.
Very similar.
But speaking of, I guess we can call them tributes in this case. This is kind of a Dukes of Hazzard reunion because we get Tom Wopat as the Senator Jennings.
Just a good old boy.
Literally driving in the General Lee car, but it's not the General Lee car. But like, I recognize the hubcaps from anything.
Yeah, all I was missing was the word, the rebel flag, and the word General Lee, and then make it orange. And all of a sudden be like, it may be funny if you crawled out the car and goes, "Hey there, Luke, what you doing, man?" He goes, "Oh man, what up, Bo?"
Which is funny considering that in 2005 there was literally a Dukes of Hazzard movie that came out starring Willie Nelson.
Oh yeah, and Sean William Scott and Johnny Knoxville, yeah. And it was directed by the Indian dude from Super Troopers, Jay Cherasky. And ironically, they have a cameo in the damn movie. Ironically, they do.
That's true.
I was like, but yeah, I'm just saying, ain't that weird that Dukes of Hazzard? But this was like much a tribute to Dukes of Hazzard.
It really was.
Lex Luthor even has a line that says,
"I literally take your look like you're a good old boy."
Yeah, Lex Luthor says that, Ryan.
Yeah, like talk about things they could never do today for very.
Or what about Senator Jennings telling him his Jonathan's backstory, how much he pissed off the farmers, had to get away. That was so Dukes of Hazzard event. That was such a callback from that show.
And I've never seen an episode, but
even though I never watched it, I was very well aware of it. But it's kind of obvious that they were kind of like acknowledging, like give a little bit of a wink and nod.
I live in Mississippi, and I have seen that car 1,000 times because people love that car so much. The other day, I was in Walmart, and there was a car, General Lee car out there. Like it was like someone that had a newer model, and they painted their car to look like the General Lee. It had a 01. And I'm just like, and had the rebel flag on top, and it had the General Lee on top of that. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, whose car is that? So everybody taking pictures. And then an older black man comes out, gets in that car, and drives off.
Wow!
And I'm just like, that blew my fucking mind.
Oh my god,
that blew my mind. I was like, he must be a Dukes of Hazzard fan.
Different strokes for different folks, I guess. But
I guess.
Yeah, let's talk about Erica Durance in this Star Spangled Banner outfit because yes, please. Like
Ryan texted me and was like, Ryan was like texting like I guarantee you, he was so turned on. He's like, oh my god, she's taking it. Oh my god, The
Seeing her
Pussycats
in
had
that
on.
outfit was good for my health.
That was the
We're
only
like,
time
thank you,
in my life I knew
thank you,
right then and there Ryan
WB.
had a boner. Keep it in your fucking pants, man. Show some respect, okay? Like, come on, this is Smallville. This isn't like look, okay. Look, every guy has watched that probably, and was like, nice.
And I love how when Clark
That's
sees
a total fucking lie, Jake. That's not how people reacted when they watched that episode.
It's kind of like they react the same way they react to Selma Hayek snake dancing from Dust Till Dawn.
like
They're
when
probably
Clark
they're probably
sees
not going to
her-
sit there and be like, oh, nice when they watch that episode. No, people
Why
would
is
do
this
the
remote so
opposite of
sticky
that.
after they watch? They're watching a couple times, but why is my DVD remote so sticky? Their moms when they're 14 years
I
old.
mean,
Their moms say,
they got overexcited, and then the mom
But
walks in the
which
room
really,
like,
Ryan,
hey, what are
Ryan,
you
just,
doing?
Ryan, just to make you happy, okay? Go watch House of the Dead. She's in that movie. Go watch House of the Dead, and I guarantee you'll be very happy.
Is that crappy Uwe Boll movie?
Yes, she has a small role in that movie, and I'm just telling you, go watch. She's in one scene, and I guarantee you'll like that scene.
Well,
You'll be very happy.
never thought I'd need a reason to watch that awful movie, but I think I now do. But
I never knew she was in that movie either until I watched it one time for a shitty. I was watching like, is this really that bad? And I watched, oh, this is awful. and then I just saw like, oh, there's Erica Durant. This is like way before Smallville.
That's true.
But yeah. Which I will say, I do laugh that she was like they play a song, "Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me."
Yeah, they play the
And
Pussycat Dolls. Dude, that song was very popular in the mid 2000. Like I remember that song was overplayed on the fucking radio every time I go to school. That was so overplayed so many times.
She was literally just doing like a bad strip routine. That she was like just like it's like she, and then Clark's just like doing this like.
He's getting a little awkward and he's sweating and he's like, oh my god, what's happening right now? And also, Alex gave him that fucking club card to get in to that underground strip club. I was like, what? What are you doing?
No, but I love how like when Clark sees her, I'm like, well, in that moment he realized that he is going to marry this woman.
When she was giving him a lap dance, him like every desperate guy at 5 a.m. says, "The stripper really likes me, guys. The stripper really likes me." I'm gonna marry them.
But yeah, Senator Jennings, he's literally in love with that 19-year-old stripper that got killed early on in the episode.
That was a fucking Photoshop if I've ever seen in my life. It was like his face is not even like attached to his body. He's like,
dude, it looks so fake. And even
like,
they said like, because I think that was something. I think that was the idea that they were letting us to believe that was a fake photo. Then later it was real, but it didn't fool anybody. It still looked like a Photoshop.
I did like Jonathan confronting Jack about those dirty deeds while they're driving.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. And I like Lex making the Dukes of Hazzard reference, and I think Clark stopping the helicopter was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but that was one of the highlights of the episode that I love, that the fact that Jonathan gives them a little bit of a lecture when they go on a little bit of a joyride. And Senator and Jennings just like, hey, you never getting caught in a situation, or you never been caught. Like, oh, there's a little bit of a conflict between him and Jonathan. Like, hey, I live in a world where there's no black and white. Like, I'm because even though that they have to look up to me, but I'm not perfect. I just love the way he delivered that dialogue.
Also, I like that Clark's in the lesson. Sometimes evil doesn't pay, because he's like, oh, we can't do nothing,
Yeah, and it turns out that Lex is now running for senator, which
Diplomatic
was something out of nowhere.
I mean, they kind of telegraphed it with the whole like president thing, like in both of those flashbacks.
Also, it's 5 a.m. The cop says it's 5 a.m., but yet it looks like it's freaking afternoon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, why did you say it's 5 a.m.? Like,
this is like
empty at that
5
point.
Yeah, this is like 5
It does look like noon. It doesn't even look like a sunrise morning.
But yeah, I think that made me laugh though. It was like it's 5 a.m. and all of a sudden I do like that. And then like you find out, even though it's like I do like the idea. I hated that they had a shoehorned in like, oh, he got arrested when he went back overseas. I'm like, wouldn't it have just been better to say, hey, sometimes evil doesn't pay. That's why Superman needs to exist. And also Jonathan running for senator. I like that idea.
Oh yeah, when Jennings like dropped out of the race and saying like, you know what, we need someone like you to run and actually really care about what we're doing. which I love that.
It'd be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to win, but he's gonna give it a try.
But now he's gonna be running a race against Lex Luthor, which that's gonna be a big horse race.
Ryan.
Yes.
Who do you think's gonna win?
I mean, Lex is gonna win.
Interesting.
Interesting things of note. Which I will say, this episode I thought was pretty fun. I thought it was a good episode. Not my favorite episode, but I thought it was pretty good. It's way better than Thirst.
Yeah, it is better than Thirst. It because you have a lot, because even though that the whole stripper subplot was kind of dumb, but at least that there was a lot of moments with Senator Jennings being a great addition to this episode and bringing a lot of heart to it between him and Jonathan and Clark and all that. That was one of the biggest savior of this episode.
Yep. Yeah, and now Ryan has Spank Bang material too as well. So there you go.
Well, on that note, let's go to ratings.
You know it's true. You know it's freaking true, Ryan.
Richard, have you ever watched Spank Projections?
1 to 10.
How many on a scale of 1 to 10? How many times is Ryan gonna spank his monkey? An 8 out of 10.
Will you stop?
Oh God.
All right, I'm gonna give this that's about 8 out of 10 shields.
All right, Matt, what about you?
I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Very good episode, better than the last one. It's definitely the second best out of the 3.
I will go 8 as well. I think that this was a very good episode as a whole, and gave me some material to look at afterwards, and I'll just leave it at that. But
8 out of 10 times probably.
Will you stop?
What did you all think of these 3 episodes? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to read what you have to say. And stay tuned for next week, where we will be covering episodes 7, 8, and 9, which are Splinter, Solitude, and Lexmas, respectively.
Lex tries to steal Christmas.
Okie dokie. But
I'm joking. Wouldn't that be funny if it was that Lex was trying to steal Christmas like the Grinch?
Oh my God.
Well, it sounds like a Christmas special, so I'm a fan of those. But thank you all so much for tuning in. It's always so much fun to do these episodes every week. Jacob, tell the people where they can find you.
They can find me on YouTube for Movie Cinema.
All right, and I was actually on Jacob's channel fairly recently reviewing the Poughkeepsie tapes, which I still owe him big for that one. I mean, like, I'm gonna find something even more demented than that, like Human Centipede or something, and we're gonna review it together.
No, you sick fuck. I would never review.
Oh, you would never? Oh, well, I will keep that in mind, and we're doing the whole trilogy.
You fucking asshole. Well, then fine. You gotta make it the whole trilogy. Bring Matt in too. Matt gets to suffer with us.
He had no problem. He has nothing to do with any of this.
Well, that's what you get for making me watch Lake fucking Mungo. You're like, oh, watch Lake Mungo. Watch Lake Mungo. It's fucking boring as shit. I was like, man, this movie's fucking boring. I was like, and it's like Ryan's like hyping, oh, this is the best movie ever. So I'm like, I'm gonna fuck with Ryan. Watch this. And so I got Ryan to watch this movie, and Ryan was like, this is the most fucked up thing I've ever watched. I'm thinking,
well, it was. But that review is on Jacob's channel, so go check it out. And Matt, it's great to do this with you every week. Your link tree's in the description. What do you got coming up?
Well, I already got my review dropped on for Godzilla X Kong, and I'm planning on seeing Monkey Man this weekend, which I'm very excited to watch. Everybody's raving about it, so I'm so excited. So keep an eye open for that.
All right, yep, and Matt's link tree, like I said, is in the description, so give him a subscribe on all of his accounts. And as for this channel, it's been a bit quiet lately because after reviewing a whole ton of Godzilla movies, I'm giving myself a little bit of a breather. But in the next week or two, I'm going to be starting up a new Road to, so stay tuned for that. And the 1999 project continues apace, so that is not
about the other
stopped.
show we have, Ryan? What about the other? You want to mention the other thing we got going on with Jason?
Oh, and something else that is in the works, kind of a limited series on the channel coming up, I guess. Jacob will be joining me alongside making his
Jason the Old
channel
Millennial.
debut, Jason the Old Millennial, where we are going to be doing a series called Talking Silence, where we are going to be reviewing every movie and TV show that has Hannibal Lecter in it. So we're talking Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs,
Manhunt.
Manhunter,
Yep.
Hannibal Rising, Red
Red
Dragon, and then all 3 seasons of the Hannibal TV show starring Mads Mikkelsen. It's going to be a limited series, but it's going to be great to have Jacob back on for more stuff, and it's going to be great to have Jason the Old Millennial on the channel. Finally, it's been years. But happy to have him on, but that's going to be coming up very, very soon, but I will have more announcements on that coming soon. But if you liked this video, leave a like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. For Matt White, for Jacob Collins, my name is Ryan Cam. For Truth, for Justice, for the American Way, we will see you in the next one. Y'all
We love
take
you guys.
more than
And
you
also,
ever-
always hold on to Smallville.
Yes, indeed.